This is an extremely difficult exercise, trying to recap a 34 minutes long press conference in a smaller video. Because honestly, if we go towards everything what the mister said, and we go through line by line, sentence by sentence, because they were all equally important and we want to detail it, we want to analyze them, well, I'm here for a video of 3 hours. This is not what we want to do, but I will try in that video to recap what Tudor said today. The importance of the words, the intonations on some words. I tell you that I wanted to start listening to that press conference, trying to avoid being carried away, being led by nostalgia, because we all know it, Igor has been a player that I was able to follow. 8 seasons with the Bianconeri. I didn't want to think about that. A winning Juve, Ancelotti, Lippi, Capello, making abstraction of that moment to try to focus. I didn't want to be led and carried away by words. We heard so many words in recent years, and I'm not referring only to Thiago Motta. So I really wanted to make abstraction. Mission failed. Mission failed because Igor today, he went with a performance, and I know it's not the field, it's just words, but he went with a performance that is, according to me, probably the most beautiful press conference I experienced, I followed live since 1981, which is the year that I have born. And I will try to explain you that in today's video. Ciao Juventini of the world. My name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I will start with a question for the people that followed the press conference, not only read it, but followed it. How do you feel? What are your feelings? Also, the people that didn't really follow it because they don't understand the language, but people that read, and thank you to Saraz to have that recap also there in our Telegram group. How do you feel? Try to answer before listening to me. Look, I told you, Tudor said so many things that I want to go through step by step, but one of the things that he did today, I believe consciously, was explaining Juventinità, explaining Juve. A lot of time there is that question, what is Juventinità? It's an abstract word, Juventinità, the DNA, what is it? So they explained it in facing problems, not hiding, anticipating, and putting his face on it. This is what Juve is. Even if, and especially in moment of difficulty, this is what Tudor did today. And I'm immensely grateful for that. I needed to go back to my identity. I needed someone that brought me back to what it is to support Juve, what it is to be proud of Juve. Also in moments of difficulties, Tudor mission immediately accomplished. He went here, immediately in my heart. I tell you that I didn't want to be carried away. I wanted to be neutral, without emotion. At a certain moment, I even had some tears in my eyes because they came from here, from the heart. Immediately, I was emotional. I was really emotional. I can tell you that if Tudor, and I'm sure that he did, was able to go in his first day in La Continassa, and then also in the second day where a lot of other people joined him, and was able to go with the same intensity, with the same words, with the same intonation, well, the players that are always a bit alert, a bit cautious about the words of a new coach, well, I'm sure that they follow him. After 5 minutes, I didn't need 34 minutes. I was already sold, I believe, after the 5 first minutes of press conference. Well, I'm sure that the players will follow him. I don't know today. I cannot promise you today if Igor Tudor will succeed at Juve, if he will stay longer, if he will reach top 4, if he will win a single game in the 9 remaining plus Club World Cup. I cannot promise you that. I don't know. Maybe we will say that he was not able to coach Juventus, but I can tell you one thing, I will never blame Igor Tudor. I already told you that yesterday, I repeat it even more today. I'm immensely grateful, and he was already, but he will be an immense person of Juve history and hopefully also for the future. So what did he say today? We start with Giuntoli. I think that Giuntoli today, I said it yesterday, I really want him to speak, and he did the right thing. He said the right words. He was really open. First of all, speaking about the relationship with Thiago Motta, saying there is a lot of respect, and I believe that he will become a really great coach. That was important for me to hear because that was also his choice, the one of Thiago Motta. We heard a lot about the relationship between him and the Italo-Brazilian coach. He wanted to put that, ending a chapter. Then he said, pay attention, we didn't go with immediately the dismissal because we believed in it. But then after a few days of thinking about it, we were really worried. And we decided to change. We chose immediately Igor Tudor, so he's actually putting away the voices about Mancini and other possible coaches, not only because he's passed at Juve, which is important. It's not only because he's a Juventino, but because of technical values, because tactical values, because of human values that we appreciate a lot. And then he went super transparent. We go with him until the Club World Cup. After the Club World Cup, we will sit at the table and we will discuss. Our hope is to continue together with Igor Tudor, to continue a project that we really sincerely believe in. Look, he did what he had to do. Cristiano Giuntoli, bravo for the choices of word in being respectful towards Thiago Motta and also being honest and open and transparent towards the support. He could have said today, we go and we will continue with him, or we will not. No, we don't know yet. We want, we hope, but we are not sure. So bravo, Cristiano Giuntoli. What about the words of Igor? He went immediately, guys, with some beautiful words, some beautiful things, but I can tell you that how I felt it is that with the words of Cristiano, I was still into that toxicity, negative vibe, thinking about the past, linked about the past in a difficult moment of Juve. As soon as Tudor started speaking, he brought back the light. He brought back the light immediately. He had that capacity, that ability to bring back light and bring all of us and taking us with him in his new journey. He was super open, super honest. The big difference, and the only time that I will speak about Thiago Motta in that press conference, is that I told you he anticipates the questions. He knows really well what the questions will be. He's extremely prepared, not only on the field, but also in the press conference. He anticipates questions. He answered already what the questions will be. Super important in taking initiative. And the biggest difference is that his answers are every time 4 minutes long. I don't know if in the future press conferences it will always be like that, super long answer, but you can really see a difference. He goes with it. He's not afraid of a single question. He's looking in the eyes, and you already see the non-verbal communication of Igor. Smiling, understanding, without any words saying, I know what you want. I understand perfectly what the question is. And not only the question, how it's asked, but I know what you are thinking and what answer you want. And he goes for it. And that's beautiful. He said, I want to thank everyone. I know some of them, the old journalists, the newer journalists, some of them because I was an assistant coach of Pirlo, some of them because when I was a player, they were already there. So he's already immediately saying, I perfectly know where I am. I'm not afraid of the press conference. I know who you are, and we will go with it all together. Look, that's a huge, big difference. You remember, and I don't want to compare too much because that would be disrespectful for me, but do you remember that at a certain moment, really in the beginning, I said from Thiago, pay attention, Thiago, because like that, you will not have them on your side. And in moment of difficulty, they will kill you on social media, on paper, on their first pages, and that's what happened, unfortunately. Well, Tudor understood immediately that they have to take them with them. That was really great. He started immediately, I don't want to disappoint anybody. He knows. He perfectly knows the job that he needs to face, the challenge that will be huge. He says, of course, clearly, there are a lot of emotions, showing that he's also a person, a human, someone that is thinking, someone that is feeling a lot of emotions. There is a lot of work to do. There is some work to do, so he's aware that there is a lot of work. But he says, I believe in this team. We don't have a lot of time, but no excuses. Excuse is not something that is in my vocabulary, not as was when I was a player, not in my coaching career, no excuses. He takes initiative in speaking about a lot of things, but at a certain moment he's speaking about co-miners, about Yildiz, because the question has been asked, saying, look, when there are good players, it's easy to find them a role on the field. The guys are disappointed. Let's not lie about it. Because when a coach is leaving, it's partially also because of them. It's also their responsibility. Look, I loved it. I loved it because it cannot be only a person that we need to blame. That's always what I told you with Allegri in the past, with Thiago Motta now, and probably with other coaches in the past. Never try to focus and to blame one single person. Share responsibility. If we succeed all together. If we fail all together. And that's what he did today. putting responsibility, accountability on the players, because now there is no Thiago Motta anymore. They will need to show it on the field. These are the words of Igor Tudor. I loved it. Then the comparison with Mr. Wolf from Pulp Fiction, the one that is coming, that is called, and he needs to fix the problem. He said, oh, pay attention. Life is not black or white. Life is gray. And then he stops a bit and he says, even if we are bianconeri. Why is it important what he just said, even if we are bianconeri? After a few seconds, because this was something that he didn't plan to say. But then he knows perfectly where he is, and he knows perfectly that today he can speak for 34 minutes, he can speak for 1 hour. If he doesn't add, we are bianconeri, probably that will be the thing that will finish on the papers. That will enter the hearts of the Tifosi. But we are not black and white, we are grey. He knows perfectly, and only if you are a Juventino, only if you experience that Juve, you know that you are obliged to add before the question is coming. But we are Juventini. Again, anticipating what the problem could be. He said, and let me read, guys, about the contract, super important. Look, I always did, and I always do, choices with my heart. Contract or no contract. If I feel that it's not right, I go home. And that's what he showed in his career. Marseille, Lazio, etc., etc. 10 years of contract means totally nothing. 10 years of 3 months of contract, there is no difference. Of course, I would love to stay here 10 years, but we cannot control what was the past. We cannot control what is the future. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I know that I will say it a lot, but this is the reality. What about the leaders? He said, look, I'm here since 2 days. I cannot answer you on that one. Of course, there is a huge big difference with 20, 30 years ago in terms of leadership, in terms of personality. But this is something not only in football. This is something that I think is like that. It's a problem of today's world. Then he said, Juve strength has always been to choose the right person and then to let them work, to let them do. Well, he spoke about culture of work. Alessandro Del Piero, Zinedine Zidane, what he said. Humility, Paolo Montero. He spoke and then he went towards that nostalgia that I said, please don't bring me to nostalgia. I want to see the future. But he did it and he took me with him when he was saying clearly, guys, in the past, when I was a player, we were there, and even if we played a really fantastic big game on Wednesday in Champions League against a big, huge opponent, well, in the weekend, when we played against these smaller teams, we had a lot of respect for them because we were aware that we needed to give even more onto that field against these teams. We needed to do better, always with one objective in mind, the victory, the win, the will to fight. Captain will be Locatelli. Then for the other ones, so the vice coaches, give me a few days to understand, because with 2-3 days here, it's difficult to understand who is who. Going with intensity, aware of what we represent. That's what he says. 3-man defense. He said, I played with 3 men, I played with 4 men, I went with pressing on men, I went with pressing on zone. I can do all the things, no problem with that. But we personally need to find the right thing to do now. It's not a system that is important. It's not numbers. It's not 3, 4. What? It's a style of doing. That's extremely important. The will, the envy, that's important. A style. What do we want to do more than numbers on the paper? But I can tell you, I hope, he said, I hope that I already can show you some things against Genoa. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare it. I hope so. But what I can guarantee you is the spirit. The spirit, that's something that we cannot fail. The behavior, how you go towards the game, how you approach a game, this is something that we cannot fail. And I hope that you already can see a few things also tactically. Then he spoke about a few anecdotes, super beautiful. Guys, there, I was really, really emotional when he spoke about 2 things that he already said to Perin, because that's also important. He said, I already spoke about it, I already told it, I shared it in anecdotes with Mattia Perin. He said, one is I was young, I was 20, I just arrived, and I needed to go for a physical test. Well, physical test, I mean therapy, massage, I don't know. Where he says, I was queuing in line, and at a certain moment it was my turn. But that's where Zinedine Zidane is behind me. So I was really impressed by Zinedine. So I said, go. Where Zidane said, no. You go, because you were there before me. Another anecdote where he explained that after a game, they were putting away their socks and he was throwing them like that, Del Piero goes to him. He said, "Oh, take your socks, put them like this, fold them. You put them well, because then Romeo, not Agresti, but Romeo, the one that is taking care of the locker room, it's easier for him to take them, to have the stocks, the shoe size, all next to them. It's easier for his work. Being humble, respecting everyone, not thinking that you arrive, that you are." Mamma mia. These anecdotes, they represent Juventus, my friends. They really represent what Juventus is, that respect, that humility of huge, big talents that don't believe that they arrive there. No. Every single day, you're one of us. You're one of you. Respect from the leaders to everyone. Beautiful anecdote that I'm sure the players, they will learn a lot of that. When he says, correre, that's the intonation that he goes in the words. Running, that's important for him. That intensity, that fight. Then about balanced football, offensive football, he said, look, I want to do everything. We must be complete in football. Of course, if you attack with all of you and then you concede every time, goes in counter-attack, that's not the point. So we need to be careful to that. Complete football, that's what we have to work. Of course, I love the offensive football. Then he spoke about something that was fantastic about the Frenchman. He spoke about Colomani. He's an important player, a great player that he already watched playing football. And then that anecdote, probably the most beautiful one, the one about Kefren Turam, where he says, look, yesterday I already heard his father, Lilian. Let me say hello to Lilian. That yesterday on the phone he said, if he doesn't behave, give him a slap. Guys, this is the moment where really, and you can watch it live on Juventus, when I was listening to it, I nearly had tears in my eyes, because it was such a touching moment, such a moment of bringing me back to nostalgia, to a winning Juve, which I really want to see again really, really fast. He said a lot. I learned a lot of things from Ancelotti, from Lippi, from Capello, 3 guys that they won something, but most importantly, they built me. I arrived here when I was 20. I left when I was 28. They built who I am today. Lack of set-piece goals, that was something that I really loved. He said, okay, we don't score a lot on set pieces, I agree, but far from me to disrespect the one that was here before. So let's not speak about the past. Then I can tell you that set pieces are extremely important in the football of today, and more they are important, because they are also changing, moving the ranking. If you concede a set piece, if you score a set piece, if you miss a set piece, if you are able to defend a set piece, so also they're extremely aware. And then he finished with a Lippi. Did I hear him? He didn't answer, but he said it's a person, a coach that brought me here to Juve. Then he left and he came back. When I think about him, I think about Juve. I love him. Guys, he was emotional, like I am emotional in telling you. A few things that he said in the middle of that conference is, it's not enough to be a Juventino. Otherwise, we take the biggest Juve fan and we put him on the bench. Just to actually also explain, I'm not just here because I am a Juventino, it's not enough. Otherwise, Beppe goes there on the bench and it will be good. No, not only Juventinità. I will try to do my best. And probably it's something that I will put as the title of the video today. Wow. Igor, he already won. I don't know how the future will be, but he already won. Bravo. Grazie. Welcome, Igor Tudor.